Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, praise to be Allah Subhanahu wa Taala for giving us health and the change to deliver our presentation today. We would also like to thank our lecturer, Dr. Siti Fatima, MPD, for her guidance and support, and also to all of our classmates. We are from Group 2, consisting of Lauza, Ria, Lisna, Nurul, Suci, Anisa, and Anna. And I'll be the moderator for today's presentation. And today material we will present about ELT materials evaluation. And we hope this presentation can give us the useful insight and open up discussion together. The first material is about the definition of ELT materials evaluation. Will be delivered by Lauza.
All right, Anna, thank you for the opportunity. So here I will be explaining the definition of ELT materials evaluation based on Tomlinson. Developing materials for language teaching, the definition of ELT material evaluation is material evaluation refers to the systematic appraisal of the value of material in relation to their objectives and to the objectives of the learners using them. So here from the explanation of the definition is systematic appraisal is the process must be organized and methodological, not random or based only on personal opinion. And then value of materials. The focus is on whether the materials actually help in teaching and learning. In relation to objectives, the evaluation checks if the materials achieve that they were designed for teaching goals. And then in relation to learners' objectives, it also checks if the materials meet the needs, goals, and expectation of the learners who use them. So I can conclude that from the definition, ELT materials evaluation is the careful and systematic process of examining whether teaching material effectively achieve both the instructional goals set by teaching or by teachers or curriculum and the personal learner needs of the student. All right, I will give it back to Anna.
Okay, thank you, Lauza, for delivering the material. Next is types of ELT materials evaluation will be delivered by Ria. Please.
Okay, thank you, Anna, for the opportunity. The next about the types of teaching material evaluation. There are two types of teaching material evaluation, namely pre-use evaluation, whilst-use evaluation, and post-use evaluation. The first is pre-use evaluation is conducted before the teaching material is used. This evaluation aims to predict the value and potential of the teaching material for students. However, it is often based on initial impressions and subjective because teachers usually only briefly assess the content of the book. Even so, this evaluation is important to assist in the process of selecting the right teaching materials. The second is whilst in use evaluation. It is conducted while the teaching materials are being used in the classroom. This evaluation is more reliable than pre-use evaluation because it's based on direct observation of student performance when using the teaching materials. Teacher can see which activities that effective and which are not. And teachers help to modify the materials to better suit for learning needs. This evaluation is very useful to for directly improving the effectiveness of teaching materials. And the last is post-use evaluation. This types is conducted after the teaching materials have been used for a certain period of the time. This evaluation is considered the most important because it can measures the real impact of teaching materials on students, both in the short term, such as motivation and quick understanding, and in the long term, such as deeper and more lasting learning. In addition, post-use evaluation provides valid and reliable information about the strengths and weaknesses of teaching materials, make it very useful for the development of teaching materials in the futures. Maybe that's all for me about types. I will hand it back to Anna. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ria, for delivering the material. Next is about the criteria for ELT materials evaluation. To Lisna, please.
All right, thank you, Anna. So in this section, I would like to explain about the criteria of ELT materials evaluation. According to Tomlinson 2013, there is several criteria of ELT materials evaluation. The first one is impact. Tomlinson emphasizes that good materials must have an effective impact on learners. The material should be able to capture students' attention, interest, and emotions. And the next one is achievability. Materials should provide opportunities for success. They should not be too difficult or too easy because over-challenging materials can frustrate students and reduce students' confidence. Therefore, tasks within the materials must be achievable. And the third one is self-investment. Good materials should facilitate learners' self-investment. It means that the materials should encourage the learners to engage personally, emotionally, and cognitively so that they will feel invested in the achievable activity. And the first one is readiness. The material must be appropriate for the mental, emotional, and cognitive readiness of learners to receive specific language input. And the next one is language exposure. The materials must encourage students to immerse themselves in order to understand the language through materials used by native speakers in everyday life, rather than just using materials specifically designed for lessons. And the seventh point is facilitation of language development. Good materials should not only teach the language but must create an environment that enables learners to develop their communicative competence through use and direct engagement. That's all. I'll give it back to Anna. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lisna, for delivering the material. Next is about the example of ELT material evaluation. To Nurul Huda, please.
All right, thank you, Anna. I'll explain about the example materials evaluation in ELT, specifically in evaluation of reading unit in the course book. Tomlinson 2013 state that there are four steps about material, four steps to evaluation materials in ELT. The first is description, analysis using Tomlinson evaluation check criteria, and the third one, judgment. The fourth is suggestion for improvement. To make the explanation simpler, let's imagine the situation. There is an English book. In English textbooks, inside there's one unit or chapter about cultural tradition. It contains a reading text about tradition from different countries, and then question like answer based on the text, and then vocabulary tasks like find meanings of difficult words, and then write a short paragraph assignment. The question, is this material good or not? And how to evaluate it? The first step is description. Just tell what's there. So the material, like there's about cultural tradition. There's a reading text, question, vocabulary, task, and so on. Just describing what's inside, not judging it. And then the second is analysis, check using a checklist, specifically using Tomlinson checklist. Like, is it relevant? The cultural traditions, students can definitely relate this to their family tradition. Okay, maybe good. And then, is it engaging? There are colorful pictures. Nice topic. But why are tasks just read, answer, and boring? And then, is the language natural? Like, they say it's from authentic sources, but it feels too simplified, like baby language. And then, is it practical for teachers? Like the instructions are clear, easy to understand, and it's good. The third step is judgment or conclusion. The material is good for practicing reading and building vocabulary, but it doesn't give students enough opportunities to speak and interact. And the last step is suggestion. Imagine the problem like student just sit quietly, read, answer the question like a boring classroom. And then the solution, before reading, we can like brainstorming, like tell us about your family tradition first. And after reading, we make a discussion, like let's discuss which tradition is the most unique. And then create role plays. Students act out tradition from other countries. And the point is evaluation is like reviewing a product. We check what's inside, is it good, what's missing, and how to improve it. So teachers know which materials are worth using and which ones need modification. Maybe that's it for example. I'll give it back to Anna.
Okay, thank you, Nurul, for delivering the material. And next material, it's about the benefits of ELT materials evaluation will be delivered by Anisa. To Anisa, please.
I'm sorry, maybe Suci.
All right. For the next material is about benefits of English language teaching materials evaluation. The first is ensuring learning effectiveness. So evaluation helps ensure that materials truly support the achievement of instructional objective, so that the learning material provided by the teacher can give meaningful learning experience for students. For example, the teacher used a textbook to teach a simple past tense. After evaluation, the teacher discovered that the practice questions were only multiple choice, so students weren't actually practicing. Then the teacher then add an assignment to write about students' vocation, for example, student vocation experiences using the simple past tense to achieve the learning effectiveness. And then improve material quality. The evaluation process allows for continuous improvement or refinement so that materials remain relevant, engaging, and aligned with student needs and the latest education trends. And then helping in selecting appropriate teaching materials. Evaluation, both predictive or before use and retrospective after use, helps teacher determine the suitability of material for student needs. For example, the teacher want to teach speaking skills and she evaluate two types materials, English language political debate videos, and she finds out that it's too difficult, and then video of everyday conversation in cafes, for example. This is easier to understand, so the teacher choose conversation videos because they suit the abilities of high school students, for example, who are still on the intermediate level. And then provide feedback for material development. Evaluation results provide input for teachers, material authors, and institutions to improve and adapt materials to the learning context. For example, the teacher creates her own listening module after using it in class. Students found the pace too fast and found many of the vocabulary words difficult. So the teacher record the result of this evaluation and revise the material with slower audio and a list of key vocabulary at the beginning. So this evaluation can be realized in the next semester in the next class. And then support the role of teacher as facilitators. By conducting evaluation, teacher can adjust, modify, or add materials to better suit classroom condition and student learning needs. All right, maybe that's all from me. I give it back to Anna.
Okay, thank you, Suci, for delivering the material. Next material is about challenges of ELT materials evaluation will be delivered by Anisa. To Anisa, please.
Thank you, Anna, for giving me opportunity. So the last point is about challenges of ELT material evaluation. The first challenges is lack of universally agreed upon criteria.
It means that there is no single standard for evaluating ELT materials. There is different teachers or researchers use different criteria, as Hafiz et al. 2023 says. It shows different criteria of selection as well as a structure form of selection and evaluation. But in Indonesia, for example, BSNP or Badan Nasional Sertifikasi Profesi has developed a national standard for evaluating textbook, focusing on content, language, presentation, and also graphics. However, this shows a local effort rather than universally agreed upon standard. So, since researchers and teachers in worldwide context still apply different criteria. And the second point is about time-consuming and complex process. Evaluation takes a lot of time and effort, especially because there are so many ELT materials in the market. Like according to Hafiz et al. 2023, since there are numerous ELT materials on the market, it's not partial to evaluate each and every in detail. So this shows why teachers often need a quicker method to save time. And third point is need for contextual customization. It means that material must fit a teaching context, such as the goal of the program, the objective learning, the student needs, and the classroom situation. So teachers need expertise to adapt materials to their own teaching method. And number 4 is lack of teacher knowledge or insight. The last challenge is not all teachers have enough knowledge about how to evaluate materials. The article mentions from ISLIC 2018, some teacher may do the same task without having enough insight into the topic. Thus, the training helps trainees. So, this means that training is important because without knowledge, teacher not be able to evaluate properly. Thank you.
Okay, that's all for the materials for ELT evaluation ELT materials. And here's our conclusion. For the conclusion, ELT materials evaluation is the process of checking whether teaching materials match the student's needs and the course goals. So it can be done before, during, and after the use of materials to see how effective they are, how the student respond, and what improvement can be made. Through this process, teachers focus on the impact of the materials, their fidelity, and how much they support the learning. Evaluation helps to improve the quality of the materials, makes the learning more engaging, and guides the teachers in choosing or adapting the resources. Even though it can be challenging due to the limited time, lack of the clear criteria, and the need for the teachers to understand their context well, materials evaluation is still very important. It ensures that the student gets relevant, interesting, and high-quality materials that truly support their learning of the quality. All right, that's all from us. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to ask directly or write them in the chat box. I will be happy to discuss them together in the chat box. We also sincerely apologize if there are any mistakes in our explanation or the delivery. Thank you very much.